Hello, everyone. I am your host, Aileen, and I'm a licensed attorney here in Texas and in the Philippines. And I'm also the managing partner of Dizon Law, based here in Houston, Texas. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening sa lahat ng mga nanonood at nakikinig sa atin ngayon. At ano man ang ginagawa ninyo o nasan man kayo, maraming salamat because there are so many things that you can do right now, but you chose to be with us today. So welcome sa Usapang Off The Record. If this is your first time to tune in, I just want to let you know that we are being aired by Roof Chamber Radio Pinoy, which is produced by Roof Chamber Media Corporation based in Dallas, Texas. At of course, ang Usapang Off The Record ay isa lamang sa mga programa na mapapanood ninyo sa Roof Chamber Radio Pinoy. Kaya naman, i-like na at i-follow nyo na ang Roof Chamber Radio Facebook page. At syempre pa, mag-subscribe na rin kayo sa Radio Pinoy YouTube account. Ayan. And dahil tayo ay live streaming sa Facebook at sa YouTube. Now, the recorded live show, kung hindi man kayo makapanood ngayon, you can listen to our recorded live show sa Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, and Listen Notes. So tune in and join us for a deep dive into legal issues that could change your life. So for today's episode, mga kababayan ko, pag-uusapan natin of the record ang Anti-Red Tape Authority sa Philippines. At syempre pa, sino pa ba naman ang best source of information natin? Ay syempre walang iba kundi ang mismong Director General ng Anti-Red Tape Authority. And para sa kalaman ng lahat, he was appointed by President Rodrigo Duterte in 2019. And of course, he's the youngest cabinet member ni Presidente. He is also a lawyer, a licensed real estate broker, an environmental planner, a Christian pastor, and of course, an exceptional public servant. At patunay na yan yung mga na-receive niyang accolades and awards both from the public and the private sector. Kaya naman, samahan niyo ako na i-welcome natin dito sa Usapang Off The Record si Secretary Attorney Jeremiah Belgica. Welcome to Usapang Off The Record, Secretary.
Thank you very much, Attorney Aileen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Sa lahat ng mga nakikinig na mga kababayan natin at sa mga iba pang mga kasamahan natin na in whatever timelines you are in right now, it's really a delight to discuss things that could actually help our kababayans.
Ayan, and we're very happy that you're able to join us today. We know that your schedule is very busy. So kaya naman, let's go ahead and start. But before we dive deeply into our discussion for today, Secretary Bellica, matanong ko lang, saan nga ba nanggaling itong term na red tape? Kasi ang alam ko dito, historically, matagal na to na nag-exist pero inadapt lang natin dito sa Philippines. You wanna talk about that? Shortly
Well,
lang?
tama-tama kasi the office that I'm heading is the newly minted Anti-Red Tape Authority, no. So, lagi natin naririnig lalo na sa Pilipinas ang salitang red tape. But the word red tape actually originated from the practice or the practice being done by the royalties and especially the king in the olden days, wherein they would wrap their directives, their policies and their laws through a red ribbon. Tie it around with the red ribbon, and then they send it to the people. So if you want to get to the important and finer meat of a regulation, then you have to get past the red ribbon or the red tape. So if there are more red tape or red ribbon, napakadaming unnecessary at hindi naman kinakailangan na dadaanan bago mo makuha yung iyong kinakailangan. So as time went by, then the meaning of red tape began to have a secondary
Definition.
understanding
Oo, yeah.
for the people, which actually now means ito yung mga unnecessary na proseso, unnecessary na requirements, unnecessary na policy o practices, no? Minsan based on law, minsan based on constitution kasi matagal na at
Mhm.
kailangan na baguhin, minsan based on a office order lamang, and sometimes based on common practice lang on the ground. So it now becomes layer upon layer and layer of layers of red tape before you could actually get the services that you need. So
Mhm.
when and of course we now also know na pag madami kang unnecessary na pinagdadaanan, nagkakaroon ng opportunity to do corrupt practices by engaging fixers and providing grease money para bumilis no linalangisan ika nga sabi nga
Mhm.
sa salitang Pilipino linalangisan mo para dumulas at bumilis. So that's why red tape and corruption magkapatid talaga yan.
Oo, tama yung red tape, ibig sabihin excessive regulations at dahil dito bumabagal yung sistema. At nagkakaroon ng opportunity nga yung mga corruptions kasi siyempre gusto natin mapabilis, eh. So, ang tayo pa naman mga Pilipino maabilidad, 'di ba? Ano bang puwede nating gawin diyan, mapabilis lang natin. So, ngayon yung mga smart na people diyan nagkaroon sila ng idea, "Oo nga 'no, why don't we do this?" So, ngayon meron nga nabanggit mo nga yung fixers, secretary. Alam mo, I remember when I was still, working as a court attorney sa Court of Appeals yan sa Philippines, I remember na I asked my boss, ang yabang-yabang ko pa no'n, sabi ko, "Boss, can I have can I ask for a half day off lang?" Sabi ko, because I have to renew my license, my driver's license. Inabot kami ng isang araw. And
Mm.
then I remember there's a lot of people talking to me, a lot of people approaching me, offering their services. They're not even part of the agency, you know. Um, and then I remember going to different tables, tuturo ka doon next to that table, ang daming gagawin. Kaya siguro tumagal. At saka may mga pila pa. That's what I remember how it works then. I'm pretty sure nagbago na yan over time dahil syempre nga katulad nga ng mga pagbabago, siyempre we aim for a change for the better, right? Kasi natatandaan ko nangyari yon, yung experience ko na yon before 2007 pa. So if I remember, that was before the Anti-Red Tape Act was enacted in 2007. And the way I understand, itong Anti-Red Tape Act na ito, ang nagbigay, it was amended in 2018. Ito ang
Yeah.
Republic Act 11032, which in turn led to the creation of your agency, of the Anti-Red Tape Authority. So, eto na. I guess this is my first question na seryosohan. So, for our kababayan, Secretary Belgica, na nakikinig ngayon, can you please explain to them what is the Anti-Red Tape Authority? Itong binabanggit natin ngayon na, sometimes we call it ARTA, and what are the functions talaga ng ARTA?
Thank you for explaining very well, Attorney Eileen, the historicity of the laws that gave way for the creation of ARTA. Kasi mahalaga kasi na maintindihan natin na meron mga incremental na trabaho at aksyon na ginagawa across the administrations just to really address this problem of red tape.
Mhm.
Pero ang ika nga, no, sabi nga nila, ang laws on paper are only as good as its implementation. Without proper implementation of the law would be rendered, useless and
Mhm.
without any effect in the lives of the people. So we do believe that with the creation of the Anti-Red Tape Authority, na ang ngayon ang tutok at ang trabaho ay talagang itulak at labanan ang red tape, no? Of course,
Yes.
kasama na rin diyan ang corruption. Ay napakalaki ang difference. From 2007, may mga polisiya na nilay down diyan katulad ng pagkakaroon ng Citizens Charter,
Mhm.
pagkakaroon ng report card survey, which was being overseen before by the Civil Service Commission amongst one of their many tasking in law. So isa lang sa napakadami because the Civil Service Commission is sort of the HR, sabihin nga natin, of the entire
Oo.
government, the entire republic, no?
Yeah.
Entire government and bureaucratic systems. But as an HR, you have many, focus, many works. But through the creation of the Anti-Red Tape Authority, you now have a single agency,
Mhm.
high enough, which is because under the office of the president, na talagang nagtutulak ng polisiya, national policy on red tape. Kaya nga ang aming primary na trabaho talaga diyan ay i-enforce ang mas
Mhm.
pinalakas na layunin ng bagong batas na to. Ito ang Republic 11032, or now as we now call the Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act of 2018, or the
Mhm.
new ARTA law. Now, ARTA, kami, no, yung ahensya po namin, I got appointed as the first Director General of ARTA in 2019, July 2019. So, magtatatlong taon na po, no, ang full implementation ng batas na ito. And basically, meron kaming dalawang general mandates or functions, Attorney Aileen. The first
Yes.
function of ARTA is what we call the empowerment function. When you
Mhm.
say empowerment function, ito yung we help government agencies, national, local, and even the barangays and even consular offices to streamline their processes, provide recommendations, re-engineer their processes, and even that should lead actually to automation ng kanilang mga serbisyo. Because hindi mo pwedeng i-automate ang isang sistema nang hindi mo
Mhm.
naman ito in-streamline or re-engineer. So we've been coming up with many tools through the help of different international organizations, academies. USAID is there to help us. The UK government is there. The New Zealand government is there. UP, Ateneo, and also the AP Development Academy of the Philippines, and some other. Of course, the World Bank Group has been very very much involved in the developmental process. So, marami talaga tayong mga eksperto at mga global best practices na kinuha, no?
Uh-huh.
At ginagamit ngayon para institutionalize ang regulatory management system, which all falls part of our empowerment function. Now, the second function of ARTA sa paglaban ng red tape ay ito nung yung tinatawag namin na enforcement function. Ito naman yung medyo
Enforcement,
pagpupulis.
yes.
Yeah, pagpupulis, no? Ito naman na
Mhm.
attorney yung cracking the whip kung kinakailangan, kasi we could now also investigate and file cases if need be. And kasama na dyan is yung mga entrapment operations na ginagawa rin namin for fixers. And also yung automatic approval ng mga permits and licenses ng mga tao na inuupuan at hindi inaaksyonan, ay we also do that, no? So so far we were able to file around 500, more than 550 cases in the past 2 years. We're able to declare automatically approved 8,500 permits and licenses na dumating sa amin. Ano? So, anyway, so those
Wow.
are the
Mhm.
general functions of ARTA, and we're seeing talaga that the chain of reform against red tape is already on the move, no? But we still have a long way to go, but I think we're heading towards a good path.
Wow, ang dami nating nakuha dun ano, Secretary Bellica. Nararamdaman ko at based sa information na shinare mo ngayon, lalo na yung two major functions ng ARTA, yung empowerment at saka yung, ano ba yun, enforcement,
Enforcement. Enforcement.
napakamahalaga yun, eh, kasi kung walang when you empower people, different agencies, nagiging self-sufficient yan. So, mababawasan din ang trabaho ng agency, di ba? Ng
Yeah.
ibang mga tao kasi na, they do the work. They become efficient. And then, of course, enforcement kasi syempre, kung wala namang pangil ang batas, ay walang silbi yung batas. Yan. So, anyway, bago natin ipagpatuloy ang ating magandang discussion, Secretary Bellica, let's have a quick break.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Marty Kaimo, executive director of a ministry called Roof Chamber Media, producers of The Roof Chamber Live. To date, the group has produced a total of 3 seasons, all but the first few episodes of which are available on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and other platforms. We have shows which talk about love and forgiveness, about the day-to-day struggles of Christian life, about the depth of the power and the beauty of the Word of God. Shows which explain how to find hope, joy, and salvation in the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ. And there is so much more that we can do with your help. If you agree that the world needs to hear more of Jesus' message of unconditional love, forgiveness of sin, and salvation through Him and Him alone, would you consider becoming a Roof Chamber Media partner? Your monthly donations will keep this ministry going for as long as the Lord will have us minister through His grace. Our Patreon and Subscribe Star accounts info will be provided on our YouTube channel and Facebook page. Thank you for being a blessing, and thank you for your commitment to Roof Chamber Media.
Ayan, at tayo nagbabalik sa Usapang Off The Record. At syempre pa, kasama pa rin natin si Secretary Belgica ng Anti-Red Tape Authority. Yes. So, ang ganda ng discussion namin kanina. Nabanggit nga ni Secretary Belgica yung two important functions ng ARTA, ano? At nabanggit niya rin yung streamlining. But ito yung gusto kong itanong sa kanya yung Nehemiah program. Do you want to expound about that? Kasi I heard that this is a really good program that is really working and producing result.
Yeah, so the Nehemiah program is the national effort for the harmonization of efficiency measures of interrelated agencies. So this is a flagship program of ARTA. Basically, it started when I had when I was inspired by the life of the biblical character, the governor, and also sabi nga na engineer, Nehemiah, when he was able to build the walls of the city in 52 days. And it was an impossible task, and he was touted, he was maligned by some people, saying that it's impossible for them to be able to do it. Now, I saw certain similarities, Attorney Aileen, on the broken walls, as well vis-a-vis the broken system when it is red tape ridden. Because kapag wala ho kayong pader sa bahay, sa inyong pader po, sa inyo pong, lalo na noong una panahon, no, sa kanila pong mga borders, ay nagiging susceptible po ang isa pong bayan for all sorts of things, no? Attacks, compromises, cultural compromises, and all of those things. And in terms of the Philippines, if we have a broken system, a unstreamlined system per sector, susceptible sa corruption, susceptible talaga sa abuse because of the long processes and long queues. So with that inspiration, I realized that what had to happen was the streamlining of government services should be done on a sectoral level. Ibig sabihin, hindi pwedeng hiwa-hiwalay o kanya-kanya kayong gumagawa ng inyong mga pagbabago at reforma sa inyo-inyo lang kanya-kanyang mga opisina. And I'll give you I'll explain why, no? Kasi there is a red tape on a per agency level na tinatawag, no? Per agency red tape, and there is an interagency red tape level naman. Kasi an agency level red tape is kuwari, ito yung mga serbisyo na pwede lang magampanan ng isang ahensya, katulad ng pagkuha ng lisensya, pagkuha siguro ng benepisyo mo sa isang government agency like the Social Security System, and so on and so forth, a birth certificate. But there are permits and licenses that could only be accomplished through going through several government offices, like having your permit to build a socialized housing, put up a telecommunications tower, and these are the more important ones talaga, no? Logistics sector, energy sector. So, doon sa mga interagency red tape na ito na sinasabi natin, even if the government agencies would streamline their services on their own, isa-isa o hiwa-hiwalay, pero dahil hindi nila tiningnan as one unit, integral unit, ang buong
Mhm.
sistema, even if they pursue their reform agendas on their own without, orchestrating their actions together, hindi mararamdaman ng tao ang reforma, because you still have to deal with individual
Yes.
agencies one by one. And what one good example, a picture of the red tape. Before, if you want to put up a telecommunications tower, you have to deal with 10 or 12 government agencies,
Uh-huh.
and with so many permits and licenses. If you want to put up a socialized housing in the Philippines, you have to go through 27 government
Oh,
agencies,
wow. Mhm.
300 documents, 400 documents, and about 300 signatures. So, before ka pa nagsimula, sabi nga, aanhin mo ang damo kung patay na ang kabayo, sabi nga.
Tama.
So, the
Ipalibig na lang natin 'yun.
tama. So, the idea talaga at attorney here is, ARTA now is calling all of these government agencies per sector. We
Mhm.
identified 5 important sectors and gave them the task. Let's look at the system together. Let's get the private sector. Let's listen to them and let's map it out. Ano ba ang problema sa telecommunications and paano natin ito mababawasan in 52 days, no? 52
Uh-huh.
days, and ang target is 52% reduction in time, in requirements, and
52,
in
no?
processes. So we had some initial successes already by God's grace, especially starting with the telecommunication sector, na we were able to finish the telecommunication sector for putting up a telecom tower. What used to be 8 months to 1 year is now just taking 16 days. So
Wow, that's a big ano, difference sa secretary. Kailan ba nagsimula yung, ni Himaya program? Ang laki ng ano, ng kanyang pagbabagong nangyari.
yeah,
52 yeah.
it started. It was launched last before the pandemic. Actually, few days before the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
Uh,
Mhm.
this was in 2020. It started 2020 vision nga, eh, no? So in 2020, it started. It was launched in March, around March 4, I
That's
think, and
mhm.
the lockdown happened sometime about March 17, I think. So
Yun.
we had to readjust a little bit our timelines, but we were able to finish the entire first cycle. Started the first 52 weeks, no? Started
Yes.
last March. So ngayon nasa second ano na kami, second cycle. So natapos namin yung telecommunications, the food and the pharmaceutical sector. And now we're finishing up on the logistics naman, no? And ganun din ang aming target na ma-reduce din what used to take 22 government agencies and the logistics sector. You could already do it online, and you could do it streamlined also.
Wow. Alam mo, it's really hard to implement a very big program like that in a short period of time, given the pandemic situation pa, no? But you're able to produce result, and is still and you're still busy working to make it all happen, ano? It's nakakalungkot lang kasing iba, marami lang silang comments pero they really don't know what's going on. They have to really actually look into what's happening. Hindi lang basta-basta nakiking tayo na or based sa experience mo, one time na experience mo na, naku mabagal naman talaga yan, wala namang pinagbago, walang but really, you gotta have to look at the data and you will see that it's really, and that's how you look at it, 'di ba, Secretary, na kung
Yeah.
nagwo-work o hindi ang isang program, you have your own system of evaluating it, 'di ba?
Actually, as Attorney Eileen, what is really encouraging is that by the numbers, no, what
Mhm.
used to for the Philippines, what used to take like 6,000 permits a year, historically, ang Philippines were able to produce about 6,000 permits for the telecommunications companies, no? Ibig sabihin kasi yung mga companies na yung mga private entities naman na nag-a-apply sa government agencies. So dati 6,000, no? Sa Globe, sa Smart,
Mhm.
and the other telecommunications companies. Now, by the end of 2021, itong December, yung isang company lang, which is PLDT Smart, which is one company, already reported 45,000
Oh,
permits.
wow!
Sila pa lang. So, wala pa doon si Globe, si dito. So, we
Oo.
can really see talagang napakalaki ang change. And not only that, the UCLA, which is the global speed testing company, um, from 2021 January, we were at the 113th spot yata global ranking in internet speed.
Mhm.
Now I think we are at like 60 plus. So we've been improving steadily
It's a big
by
jump actually. It's a big jump.
malaki ho yun kasi matagal na tayong stuck doon sa mga
Oo nga,
bumibaba,
eh.
no? Ngayon nagtataas ho tayo. So these numbers are actually encouraging, and hindi lang ho yan kasi now ARTA together with the other government agencies also na-streamline na rin ho natin yung processes naman for the fiber optics. So,
Okay.
hindi lang ho yun sa tower, now sa fiber optics, and hopefully pati yung mga satellite connection, we would be able to improve it. And it's really this sector alone is very important, especially during the pandemic, kasi lahat ng services ngayon online, katulad ng interview natin ngayon na
Oo
attorney.
nga. Yes. So, alam mo naman 'yun, very important ang speed ng ano, ng internet 'no. Kasi I remember, I don't know how gaano katagal na ba 'yun, na parang Jurassic yung time, ang sobrang bagal. Nag-on ka ng computer, nagko-connect ka, I don't know how long, siguro nakapaggawa ka na ng kung ano-ano sa
Correct,
bahay 'no, bago pa
correct.
lang, "Ay, eto na pala yung website, naka-on." It's up now. It's ano, talagang ang laki ng pagbabago, and I noticed that as well because siyempre 'di ba katulad ngayon naka-ano tayo, online tayo, and it doesn't really show a lot of difference, it's like it's the same. So nandun na ang Philippines sa ganyang level, and thanks to siyempre sa mga programa katulad nga, ng mga pinatutupad ng ARTA, at siyempre naman, sa tulong-tulong na efforts 'yan ng ating mga, iba't ibang ahensya 'no. So nabanggit ko yung agencies, ano-ano nga ba yung mga agencies na nasa ilalim ng, ng ARTA?
Yeah. So, what are the agencies siguro, so people would understand? Sino ba mga agencies na
Mhm.
pwede ninyong sitahin at pwede ninyong tulugan?
O
Well,
gulatin 'no, gulatin
basically
ng
all
ARTA.
government agencies in the executive branch of government. Covered
Mhm.
yan, from the national government, all national government agencies, as SUCs, no, yung mga water districts, kasama lahat yan.
Yes.
Local government units, all 1,600 to 1,700 pala, including the
Mhm.
provinces of them. The barangays are even included here. Even
Uh-huh.
the consular offices, no? Kapag kayo lalo na dun sa mga kababayan natin abroad, marami na rin
Uh-huh.
mga nakuha na mga reklamo or request or even suggestions on how to improve things, that we even summoned and called the embassies abroad
Mhm.
for a hearing and to ask what's really happening on the ground. And um, attorney Eileen, one of the things that people has to understand is all government agencies are required to have their own citizens charter. And if there's
Okay.
actually one thing that I would want our kababayans na parang matutunang gamitin na panglaban sa abuso, no, is matutunan po natin ang kung paano gamitin ang citizens charter,
Mhm.
because if there is a citizens charter, ito po yung listahan, no, we call it like the bill of rights of a transacting public. Nandun ho nakalista lahat
Mhm.
ang lahat ng mga services dapat ng government agency, nakapaskil ito sa kanilang office or sa kanilang website. It's also written there what are the requirements, what are the processes, how much do they need to pay per transaction, who is the responsible person, and what is the feedback or grievance mechanism. They cannot violate the Citizens Charter if they go beyond that. Hindi nila inaksyonan, humingi sila ng additional requirements na wala naman doon sa Citizens Charter, humingi sila ng additional fees na wala sa Citizens Charter, or worse, kung wala silang Citizens Charter at all,
Oh.
violation already of the ARTA law. So you could already go to us or even assert
Mm.
it to the government agency. Sabihin nyo na lang, look, hindi nyo pwedeng hingin sa akin yan kasi wala sa Citizens Charter ninyo. Kasi kapag ginawa nyo yan, narinig ko si Attorney Aileen talking
Mhm.
to ARTA, and it was saying that you cannot do that. If they would insist, then that is a violation. They could get suspended or even removed from office or even imprisoned for this. So, again, sabi ko nga kanina, we were able to file already 558
Five.
cases,
Oh.
ranging from national, local officials, mayors, governors. Nobody's really exempted when you refuse to follow this directive.
Wow, actually gusto naming marinig 'yan na meron talagang nangyayari ano, na kapagka may violation. Pero una muna gusto kong i-commend yung pagiging transparent ano, kasi importante 'yan. Kahit saan ka pumunta, we should know our expectation 'pag pumunta ka sa isang agency ano, para alam mo kung tama yung ginagawa nila at kung nagva-violate na sila ng kanilang mga, ng requirements. Ayan, so, ngayon that alam na namin 'yan, siyempre we will start to look around and see and check these agencies 'no, kung they are in compliance. And, ngayon nabanggit na natin 'yan ano, Secretary, Belgica, I wanna know kasi ako siyempre bilang isang abogado tayo, bilang isang abogado ano, we always look at the what does the law says?
Mm.
Ito ba ang ginawa niya, is that considered a violation? And if it's violation, what do I do? What's the
Yeah.
first thing that I should do? Kasi 'di ba knowing your rights and knowing what to do when your right is violated, ayun ang mga importanteng malaman natin ng ating mga kababayan. So, siguro lang alam ko meron tayong laundry list 'yan ano ng violations. So what are ano ba yung mga laging nava-violate siguro na lang ng mga, violations ng mga requirements na 'yan ng mga agencies na ito, and also since we will be discussing the violations, what are the steps how to lodge yung complaints kasi gusto namin talagang malaman 'yan.
Okay, so siguro we'll paint a picture of how you go to an agency first. No,
Okay,
when you go
yes.
to an agency, we get to the agency to the you're standing at the door. The first thing that you have to look at is where is the Citizens Charter, because that
Yes,
is your
mhm.
basis. And for the people in government, yan din ang kanilang panangga. Sabihin na hindi nyo kami pwedeng pilitin na aprubahan yan because it says in our Citizens Charter. And anyway, siguro after the break, Sister Aileen, I could discuss a little bit further.
Yes, yes. Actually, that is ito talaga maraming nagtatanong eh. So this is a good discussion when we come back after the break. So let's have a quick break.
Hi, we are so pleased to be with you. Thank you for being with us. We want to invite you to be part of the Difusión Latina, Portal de Fe. We are the Spanish Ministry of Roof Chamber Radio, and we are so blessed to be with these guys all around the world. Please be with us on YouTube and Facebook. We would love very much to know how God is blessing you. And please come along and support us. God bless you and see you then.
And
Hi, we are.
haven't. Okay, so we're back. Ayan, talagang nandito na kami. Nakabalik na kami ulit. Anyway, so it was a really
Yeah.
good discussion na simulan na ni Secretary Bellica. Pero before we continue, let's just take a look. Meron kasing question dito, baka ma-address na rin as you discuss. Sabi
Yeah.
dito ni Chino V. Sana tama yung bigkas ko, no? Sabi niya, how can I report fixers? Is there a hotline number? And congratulations on the job. Well done, Secretary. Ayan ang tanong ni Chino. And
Yeah.
yes, you want to
Thank you,
discuss that?
Chino. Yeah, thank you, Chino. Napakaganda ng question mo because we've been really doing a crackdown on fixers. Let me just tell each and everyone, kapag ka gumagawa ka ng kalokohan, corruption, and you're really taking advantage of a vulnerable situation of the country, doesn't matter kung sabihin mo, I'm just a small time fixer. You better get the big time fixer. Both of
Mm-mm.
you we have to do something about it. And minsan they say that the small time fixers get uh, accosted by the police at nahuhuli sila ng ARTA. Yung big time na nandun sa loob ng government agencies hindi nahuli. Well, mali ho yan kasi iisa lang ho yan. Kasi kapag ka meron pong fixer sa labas, meron hong kumikita dun sa loob. Pag may kumukolekta sa labas, may kumikita sa loob. So what ARTA does is we do not tolerate if the fixers
Mhm.
are looming outside of government offices. We uh, entrap and then arrest them. But at the same time, the government offices or government chief in that particular detachment or office is also given a show cause order to explain why. Kung bakit, no? Kasi ang attorney normally, what they say is, sa labas na naman ho kasi ng opisina namin yan. They are not within our control.
Mhm.
Pero kung araw-araw na yan and it's public knowledge that, there are fixers
Yes.
outside your fence, come on. It's like they're like an army of the dead waiting for the next victim to just
Oo.
appear. So unless you are blind or just plainly sabihin nga natin na manhid ka na sa nangyayari ay hindi mo makikita yung mga taong nakatayo doon. So what ARTA does is hinuhuli pa rin ho
Mhm.
natin. We call it a snake grab approach. We see these people outside as the tail of the snake and we pull them out so that we get to the head. So to answer the question kanina, you could send your complaints. We're very, very active in social media. You could go to ARTA, Anti-Red Tape Authority on Facebook, artagov.ph. You could also go to our Twitter and the Instagram accounts. And even you could dial the 8888 number of the complaints office of the president. Sabihin nyo lang sa ARTA po yan. Lahat po yan makakarating po sa amin. And very soon, we would be launching our call center, our One ARTA hotline. And
Okay.
we're very excited because by next month, mas lalo hong mapapalakas. Ano po. So there, you could also email it to us through complaints at arta.gov.ph.
Ayan, there are so many ways talaga to lodge your complaint, mga kababayan. So you just need to know where to go, what to dial, what website to open, and there's always a way to reach them. Anyway, there's another question here, very important then, from Marnie Thompson. I hope I pronounced it right.
Yeah.
Can the ARTA help us get the DOJ to stop sitting on our felony complaint against PhilHealth? The DOJ has been sitting on our motion for reconsideration, thus blocking from seeking relief from the courts to challenge the DOJ resolution. And sabi pa niya, under the rules of court, an information against the respondent should have been filed in just 10 days. But our case has been pending since 2017.
Yeah. Thank you, Marnie, for the question. The answer is yes. ARTA can coordinate and help you with that. Please do get in touch with us. And then we have ARTA people already monitoring this show. So please do expect somebody reaching out to you through your messenger, private messenger. And I know for a fact that the Secretary of Justice himself has instructed the prosecution officers to stay within the prescribed timelines as given by the rules of court and also by the internal rules of the Department of Justice. So yes, the answer is yes to that.
Yan, maraming salamat, and thank you for your question, Marnie, and also Chino. And nako, ang bilis naman ng oras, ba't
Sister
ganon?
Attorney Eileen,
Yes,
actually, I was thinking if we could pasadahan kung mabilis for the benefit ng ating mga tagapakinig, what are the violations? So,
yes,
kasi
babalikan
tingin
natin yan.
ko napakahalaga na alam nila kung ano yung bawal gawin ng sa
Mhm.
ng gobyerno. You know why? Because the first the first level of defense that we can have against abuses, whether in corruption, criminality, or
Mhm.
what, is to really know our rights, sabi nyo nga kanina, and
Yes.
actually to assert it. I'm actually asking people, private citizens, who are transacting with government offices to be more assertive. But before they do that, they first have to know ano
Yes.
ba ang bawal, ano ba ang pwede.
Oo.
I tell you, alam ho ng mga nangaabuso on the ground yan. And I'll tell them quickly. No? Number one, if you go
Yes.
to the office, sabi ko nga, tingnan niyo kung may citizens charter. Kung wala, then that is a violation
Alright,
already.
number 1 'yon.
You could go to ARTA and look for a public assistance complaints desk. That is also required by ARTA and ARTA law. Kung wala silang public assistance complaints desk that you could talk to, then that is again a violation. Third is pag pumasok kayo doon, hindi ho kayo pinapasok sa office despite the fact in spite the fact that you are there within the time of 8 to 5, which is the prescribed time for
Mhm.
regular
Office
work
hour,
hours.
yes.
That is a specific violation under section 21 of the ARTA law. Next, pumunta ho kayo doon, kumpleto na ang inyong requirements according sa Citizens Charter. Ayaw tanggapin, refusal to accept
Mhm.
a submission even when it is already complete.
Complete,
That
mhm.
is again a violation. Now, and then next is kumpleto na iyong requirements, hinihingan ka pa ng additional requirements or
Dagdag, oh.
responsibilities na wala sa Citizens Charter. Tama po, dagdag, violation na naman.
Mhm.
If you were able to submit your requirements and then you paid for your fees and then they failed to issue an official receipt on your payment, that is a violation na naman under the
Mhm.
ARTA law. Now, you were able to pay na, no? Binigyan ka ng resibo. But what happened was they denied your application. They denied it pero not in writing. That is
Oh, verbal lang.
yes, because denial of applications or requests not in writing is actually a violation again of the anti-red tape law. Next is they did not deny it, but they did not act within the
Mhm.
prescribed processing time even after
Inaction.
you have completed. Yeah, no failure to act within the prescribed processing time of 3 days for
3.
simple transaction, 7 days for complex transaction, and 20 days for highly technical transactions.
Yan,
So makikita
3720. Tandaan niyo yan.
3720, makikita niyo po yan sa kanilang Citizens Charter. Ano ba ang simple? Ano ba ang complex? Ano ang highly technical? Pag hindi ho nakasulat sa Citizens Charter ang particular na service nila, automatically simple transaction po yan.
Mhm.
So, if they failed to process it within the 3720, violation ulit ho yaan ng batas. And what happens is your application is now automatically approved by operation of law. So
Okay.
that is
Mhm.
very, very important. Kaya nga po sinabi ko, attorney, mayroon na ho kaming almost 9,000 na mga permits and licenses that ARTA declared as automatically approved by operation of
Oh.
law. And we direct government agencies na ilabas ninyo yung papel na yan.
Mhm.
Dahil kung hindi, we will be filing a case against you because based on our findings, this is already complete based on your citizens charter. So, and then lastly, yung tinatawag po natin na fixing. Ayan po, no?
Mhm.
Nag-fixer ka kasi nahirapan ka o kaya naman may katandem na fixer yung taong gobyerno, then violation ho ulit yan. So the penalty is for the first time na gawin po nila any of those that I mentioned, suspension for 6 months ang
Okay.
penalty.
So first
If they,
offense yon.
first offense na,
Okay.
for the second offense, if they do it again, it's already a dismissal from public service, perpetual disqualification from holding any appointive or elective office, then imprisonment of 1 year to 6 years,
Oh,
a fine of 500,000 to 2 million pesos, and in a forfeiture of all of their benefits sa government.
mhm.
So medyo mabigat talaga,
Mabigat, mabigat
Eileen.
yung kaparusahan nila. So yung two strike policy na yan, matanong ko lang ano, meron na ba tayong ano, meron na bang napatawan yan, yung two strike policy niyo? O
Meron na
wala pa?
tayong mga nakulong kasi in 2 years may na-entrap tayo.
Oo.
Pero marami ng ongoing yung kanilang mga hearings ng mga cases. Unfortunately, Attorney Eileen, hindi ho natin under ang courts at ang
Oh.
constitutional bodies.
So wala
And
tayong magagawa dun sa mga fixers, sa mga agency lang tayo puwedeng ano, mag-act ng
no,
ARTA.
the fixers definitely they also have a charge against them.
Okay.
For
Criminal?
It's a criminal
Okay.
definitely kasi kapag for the fixing kasi wala nang two strike policy, just for the
Mm.
first strike kulong ka na agad diyan, no?
Oo,
So
ingat
kaso
mga
lang nga
fixers.
sabi nga natin, we have to observe the due process, ibig sabihin magkakahiring pa din 'yan. Pag if they are found out, then ito ay ikakukulong ng mga private individuals na involved sa fixing.
Ayan, so ang daming ano nating natutunan ngayon, napaka-short ng time pero talagang pack of information at maraming salamat pa, yan ay dahil nga sa, tulong ni Secretary Bellica nalaman natin lahat ng mga I think we tackled all the important ano 'no, important information. Siyempre marami pa tayong dapat matutunan, tungkol sa ARTA at sa mga ginagawa ng ARTA at saka sa mga susunod pang mga proyekto. For sure may mga projects yan at nabanggit na nga ni Secretary kanina yung magkakaroon ng, call center at, I'm not sure we don't have any more time. So, but you know, if ever meron pa kayong gustong malaman tungkol sa, mga projects ng ARTA, saan ba sila pupunta, Secretary? Sa website ng ARTA, sa Facebook, sa Twitter,
Facebook
sa
page, you could
Instagram?
go to
Yes.
our Facebook page because I'm sure many of them are watching through her Facebook accounts. Follow ho kayo sa Anti-Red Tape Authority Facebook page. You could also follow the Twitter account. You could also go follow my personal Twitter account if kung meron ho kayong reklamo,
Ayan,
gusto i-village
personal pa
sa
yan.
akin, ay tag nyo ko, itatag ko din ho yung agency na yan para sumagot din sila na action na ho namin via Twitter din po gagawin ho nila.
Oo.
So let's use all of the online platforms and even email accounts. Let me just say, Attorney Eileen, that
Yes, go ahead.
for the people who's listening to us, gamitin niyo po ang ARTA para sa inyo po itong opisina na ito. And marami pa ho tayong kinakailangan ayusin, but we are no longer where we were. And sabi nga natin, as long as we are doing something and people know that things are happening even on the other side of the fence or other side of the globe, at least we can spur hope and say that things are getting better. And for the government agencies who's listening to us, tulungan ho namin kayo ang ARTA to streamline your processes and even digitally transform if needed. And for those who still refuse to accept that, who still stuck up with the old ways,
Mhm.
I just want to say that the train of reform against red tape is already on the move, and anyone who would wish to stand in the way will simply be run over.
Ayan, napakaganda naman talaga ng ano, adikain ni Secretary Bellicat ng ARTA. At siyempre pa, kayo, watch out. Huwag kayong magulat kung bigla nyo lang makita si Secretary Bellicat sa inyong bakuran dahil ginagawa niyo yung surprise visit. Thank
Yeah.
you very much for sharing your insights today with our audience and listeners. We appreciate your time and effort, Secretary. I know you have a
Thank
busy
you.
schedule but you found time to be with us. And of course, sa mga nanonood at nakikinig, if you have any questions for me, please visit legal@isonlaw.com. You can send me a message, call, or schedule consultation through our website. And syempre pa, maraming salamat sa mga uh, sumusuporta sa mga patuloy na yung nandito sa atin mula simula, at saka syempre mga bagong nating mga nagiging kaibigan dito sa Usapang Off The Record. Now, before we go, I want to say thank you to my team, Roof Chamber Radio Pinoy, for this opportunity. Thank you Fenji, si Mari, si Ponce, si Khalil, Philip, at syempre pa si Attorney Orly. So, mga kababayan, I'll see you all next week sa isa na namang Usapang Off The Record. This is Aileen. Have a great weekend. Everyone, stay safe and make it worth it.